Okay,
Hello.
right. We should be live, so let us know if the audio is all okay.
Please. Well, Graham has his sorbet.
If you're wondering why we're 30 seconds late, it's because I'm getting sorbet. I'm not answering a question until people tell us the sound is okay. I'm just going to eat sorbet.
Well, this is the worst. This is the worst start to a live stream since the last one.
No, I mean, some people pay good money to watch people eat food.
Do they?
Yeah, it's mukbang. Dark Corner's mukbang.
Right.
So we're waiting. Nobody said anything.
There's always this delay, and then we get like about 50 comments saying yes, we can hear you, or no, we can't hear you, depending on whether or not you can hear us. Which at this point we still don't know.
I mean, I'm assuming that you can, although maybe. Hello? I don't know. We'll find out in a second. Can you hear us? We're talking. Hi. Yeah, cool. Can we be heard? Can we be heard? Sounds fine. Yeah.
Yes. All right.
Okay. Now we have confirmation that audio is all okay.
We've never got over the times that it wasn't. Okay. Questions. We have questions that have already come in.
Yes.
So.
Okay. So question number one is: have you seen that Captain Kronos is getting a 4K box set release?
Yes.
Are you excited for it?
There's lots of really cool stuff on there, but it'll cost a fortune. And I'm not really prepared to pay for it when it feels like a lot of money is for the leather feel
case and 3 versions of the film, which is exactly the same but with different aspect ratios, which covers, I'm assuming, 3 of the 5 discs.
Yeah.
But no, it looks amazing, and I think it's also probably the start of Hammer releasing a lot more of their films in 4K, which is.
I'll celebrate when they do a box set of their franchises when they've sorted that
when they
shit
sort
show
that out. Tomorrow, the Life and Death of Christopher Lee is going to be on Sky Arts at 9 p.m.
I do not get Sky Arts, and also Graham has seen it and wasn't a huge fan.
Yes. So I saw it at Fright Fest back in the summer. It's kind of restricted by rights issues that they can't show everything that they probably want to show. A lot of the people who knew Christopher Lee are dead and can't really talk about him.
Can't really talk about him.
They can't.
Cannot talk about it.
And also he had such an incredibly big, long, interesting life. To take that and say, here's Christopher Lee in 90 minutes is a real challenge.
Although we rose to it.
We rose to it in our video. So
he would have hated our video. It was all about Dracula.
Yes. There's one really funny clip in it where somebody calls him the King of Horror.
Yeah, that one's doing the rounds everywhere now.
Which is great. But yeah, I mean it's fine, but it's just got restrictions on it. So that's that question. Megaropolis. I'm not. I was sort of interested, but everything I've heard about it, notably from my brother, and there's a very funny review that Mark Kermode did about it. I was hoping, I think what a lot of people were hoping, that this enormous thing, a glorious catastrophe, something that would be entertainingly a bit dodgy, and everyone did, no, it's just bad. It's just bad. And Shia LaBeouf apparently reaching new depths. I mean, Shia LaBeouf is not as bad as oh dear, who's the actor everyone hates who was in Morbius?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Him in House of Gucci.
Jared Leto?
Jared Leto, yeah. Like he's not reaching Jared Leto depths of performance.
Oh.
It's a really weird film, and I'd love to know if Francis Ford Coppola finished it and went, nailed it. Is this really the vision that he had?
This is the thing. If he'd made it in the 80s, maybe it would have been much better. The idea of something set in sort of like the future, future version of the Cataline conspiracy, which I can talk about almost intelligently because by pure coincidence, I just finished reading Mary Beard's book about ancient Rome. That sounds fascinating, but everything else about the film sounds bad.
Cool. Do you like modern movies?
Yes.
You cynic.
Yes, just not Megalopolis. I haven't seen Megalopolis, but yeah, there's lots of modern movies.
Yeah, what have you seen?
I've actually been on a run. I haven't seen a good film at the cinema for a little while.
I've seen. Actually, that's not fair. I've seen some good films, no great films. So the Critic was fine. Beetlejuice, I enjoyed. I thought it was very inessential, but I enjoyed it fine. I'm trying to think that I saw something just before that I think I enjoyed, and I don't remember what it was. Really liked. Now I'm going to blank on names. Civil War, really loved that.
Oh yeah.
Fall Guy, I really liked this year.
Cool. There we are. It's modern movies. Okay, is Pink Floyd's The Wall and Clockwork Orange horror? Genre is Clockwork Orange because it's films. It's more than drama.
Science fiction is, I suppose,
fiction,
what you can technically say, but I don't see why it shouldn't be categorized as horror in some respect. And The Wall too, probably.
Yeah. Have you seen Terence Fisher's Stranglers of Bombay?
Ooh, yes, but a while ago.
Yeah,
it doesn't get shown a lot.
And so that's another top 10 we can do. Terence Fisher.
Yeah, definitely.
He needs looking at in a bit more detail. Any thoughts on the new version of Nosferatu?
I really did not. The trailer suggested everything that I was afraid of. That it looks to me like Bram Stoker's Nosferatu. That it looks. I might be wrong, but it looks like they are playing up the relationship, the love story, which doesn't exist, and I think it's even more inappropriate when it's Nosferatu.
Yeah.
I hope I'm wrong.
I mean, for me, the best remake of Nosferatu is Shadow of the Vampire.
Yeah. So, it's Nosferatu. One of the great things about Murnau's film is that vampire is a predator. In every sense, he is nothing else.
I've been doing a Godzilla the Universal Monster Marathon for this month. Seen mostly sequels and that one remake. But from the Universal side, I need to watch 3 movies and I've not seen yet. It's tough to know what you've already seen.
I don't know what you've seen. Black Cat is sometimes one that gets forgotten.
Yeah.
Or the Raven. There's some of the later ones that Lon Chaney and Evelyn Ankers did together. Evelyn Ankers, I've discovered her name should properly be pronounced. Those ones are interesting. I don't know what you've seen and what you haven't seen.
But there's good. What's the good one with Bela Lugosi?
What's the good one with Bela Lugosi?
And the Frankenstein one.
Son of Frankenstein.
I can never remember.
I'm assuming he's seen the big ones.
But that's not. I think people think big ones go Wolfman, Bride. The ones that are in that box set. So,
I would imagine off the top of my head that Son of Frankenstein must be at least one of the most expensive of Universal's horror films. Maybe Phantom tops it. They spent a lot on that.
And that's not very good.
And it was certainly budgeted as one of the most expensive, and then Roland V. Lee really blew the budget completely.
That was when we did our Universal marathon of watching Universal horror films over 24 hours.
Good times.
That Phantom of the Opera was definitely the low point.
That was not good.
That's when I might have taken
the Claude Rains one we're talking about.
Yes.
It didn't help that was probably around. That was really when it was starting to hit that we'd been up for that length of time.
We need a video of Werewolf of London in 1935. Well, my friends, let me tell you.
Condescending way to start.
If you go into our archives, you'll see that we've done Lon Chaney Wolfman one, and we do cover it there.
Yeah, so, even though Lon Chaney Jr. is not in it.
Yes, and we also
go right back to the start.
Yes, and we also cover the one with the woman in it as well.
Yes, She-Wolf of London.
Yes, so both Werewolves of London ones.
Yes.
So there you go. Your wish has been granted. Andreas, thank you for the many years, but you've never insulted me. You're not really my friends until then. Insult me now. Oh, I don't even know what I could say.
Cheapskate.
There you go.
There's one that could go either way. Thank you for your donation.
Thank you. Have you seen the new Salem's Lot? No.
Salem's Lot. No.
Salem's Lot. No. It's out now. I've got other films that I want to see, so it's not. It's not come to the top of my list.
No, me neither. I'm honest.
Have you
Is
changed?
this little red light supposed to be on?
It doesn't matter if it's on or off.
Okay.
In this case, it doesn't.
Sorry, new microphones.
Yeah.
Ish.
Have you changed your opinion of a bad review you've written in the past? No.
I don't think so.
Because I think we find the humor in it, and we'll say if we think it's a good film, even if we've taken the piss out of it.
Yeah.
So a one that I can think of as an example is Faster Pussycat Kill Kill, which there's enough there to have fun with, but it's also got a fuck ton of style to it.
Yeah.
So
there might be some that when we used to do the videos were much shorter, so you had to cut to the chase faster, so there was less nuance in them. So there are some that maybe there's certainly a load I would do differently, but maybe some that come across too harsh because we're just having to get through them.
And also like developing the character, as it were, that initially when we started off, you were much...
It's almost undeveloping the character, that we started off with me playing a character and now it's just me.
Yeah. But yeah, it used to be like a lot more angry, a lot more bitter and all the rest of it. And now you reserve that
so was the character.
Off screen. That was more you.
Pussycat.
Did you hear the Bat 1926 is getting a 2K restoration on Blu-ray? I did.
I did, yeah.
And that is a film that we've also
That's exciting, I think.
So.
That's I might invest in because that's a fun film.
Yeah.
And it would be really good. The version that I've seen is the ropey one on YouTube. It would be really nice. Now I don't get to the cinema to see silent films as often as I used to. Although there is, I really need to look into Southwest Silence. I think they do good stuff. I should. Anyway, that's really just me talking about things I plan to do in the new year.
Okay. Have you considered?
Yes.
Good. That answers that question.
Okay.
I'm a contrarian. Modern movies suck.
Okay. I think movies always sucked and movies were always brilliant. It just depends on the thing is the modern movies seem to suck because you're in the midst of them and you can't but over time the gold then tends to rise. So when we look back, then we remember the great movies. We don't have to be in the midst of all the shit that was released at the same time as Casablanca or Bride of Frankenstein or whatever.
What do you think of Terence Fisher's sci-fi films? We've reviewed one of them at least.
Yes, the ones I've seen, I think that for me, I would put all the ones that I've seen in the vein of flawed but interesting. So Four-Sided Triangle, I think I've seen. That's an interesting one and has sort of the same sort of themes that you see running through his horror films, particularly sort of like this interesting duality that he has that there's always mirroring in Fisher films. Struggling to think of some of the names of the others. We did do... I can't remember the names off the top of my head, but yeah. I don't think I've seen one that I think that it holds up to his horror films, but there's usually something interesting within them. I think the one we've reviewed is the worst of them. I can't remember what it's called now.
Cool. All right, moving on. I've just bought your quiz book. Which quiz book? This quiz book. There you go. That is our horror movie quiz book. 500 questions.
500 questions from across horror history.
Yeah.
Very nice cover it's got.
Let's
help us
test
get
your
the money back
knowledge
on that.
right now, people, with a question. What remake of a classic 1950s sci-fi horror was released in 1978 starring Donald Sutherland? That's easy.
That is an easy one.
Cool. So go get the quiz.
Thank you for buying it.
There's probably a link in the description below to the books and stuff. Thank you. It's done all right sales wise.
I think it's
And remember, you get a bonus review as well if you
do.
buy it.
I need to hit that harder when I plug it.
Worth it.
What I'm thinking, as long as you're all out there, do hit the like button for algorithmic reasons or because you liked the video. Either way.
Okay. Oh, everything just jumped.
As always with these, we are getting well behind on the comments.
Can you do a special on Tyburn films?
Ooh, I'm not sure there's enough good Tyburn films to hold a special.
That answers that. What do you think of the Wolfman 2025 trailer? So there's 2 werewolf films coming out at the moment.
Is it Lee Whannell one or James Wan?
Yeah.
One of the. I get these
There's
modern horror directors.
So one's coming from the director of Invisible Man.
Yeah,
which looks like the more interesting one of the two.
I wasn't taken with that at all. I thought that looked pretty by the numbers, to be honest.
Small though. I kind of like.
I like that,
horror.
but it's.
And there seems to be an interesting enough dynamic with the family. I'm not dismissing it.
I'm not dismissing it. I'm just saying, based on I didn't find the trailer remotely engaging.
Okay. Your favorite animated film?
Oh bloody hell! That's a huge. Okay, I'll always. I don't know if it is my favorite, but it's the one that I always like to mention. Is Your Name? The Japanese film, which I'm evangelical about. I thought it was wonderful, and not everybody feels the same as me, but I really liked it.
Cool. No Thatchers at the Spa Corner shop, Robin.
No. This is my drink sponsored by my good friend John Barron, one of my oldest friends, who I cat sat for and who left me a case of Strongbow, and I put some into Graham's fridge because John lives nearby and I don't, and he never buys me alcohol anymore, and I can no longer drink the beer in the fridge.
Oh, and it's a co-op. As we all know, there is still Dracula films to be made really faithful to the book. How would you guys make such a film relevant in the 21st century?
How would I make it relevant? I don't know if I worry too much about that.
Do you think it's possible to do a faithful adaptation of the book, or do you think it needs to be?
What do you mean by faithful? You mean absolutely sort of like page by page accurate, or just true to the spirit of the book? I think there's an awful lot of the book that can stand to be cut down. I think one of the hardest things in doing a faithful adaptation of Dracula is the way in which it's told, from lots of because the second half of the book is sort of almost epistemological. Is that the word? It's mostly diary extract. Actually, epistemological would be letters, but it's mostly diary extracts and some letters and stuff. And trying to get that across in the film would be difficult. I don't know if that's an easy thing to do, but I don't see any reason you shouldn't be able to do a film that is true to the spirit of Stoker's Dracula.
Do you think, obviously, a film you're restricted by 2 hours storytelling time? Do you think a TV series,
there's
trying to cover more of the story, would work?
Then you're just not exactly trespassing, but that has been done accurately with the Louis Jourdain version. So I think I'm a great believer in film as a condenser, and you can hone these things to. And I still say that Nosferatu is a very good version of it. Just because it's not really accurate to the events doesn't mean it's not accurate. Yeah.
There you go. That was an intelligent answer, I think.
Every now and then we get a bit of wood on the ball.
I've been doing a watch list of several horror films and a few science fiction films for October. This has been fun. I only had one film that's disappointed me so far. That wasn't a question.
Nice. Well, not all of them are. Just someone sharing what they're doing, and we welcome it. This is a celebration of film.
I should have looked for the question mark. Would love to see your respective of the original Night Gallery series.
What?
The retrospective of the original Night Gallery.
We tend not to do series.
Yeah.
That's a TV series, isn't it? Yeah. Tend not to. I never have the time for just that sheer amount of watching.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it'll take time away from other things.
I mean, if we made enough money to be able to sort of like ditch all the other things we were doing, then I could spare the time on doing that. But at the moment, Dark Corners doesn't.
We have to
sustain itself. We both have other jobs.
Tough choices.
I've got to go back to ghostwriting.
Oh no!
I've already got a job, so
okay.
At least it's easy.
Is it possible for Hollywood to make a popular movie without 40 million on special effects? Yes.
Yeah.
I'd say so.
Oh, it's definitely possible.
I mean,
they don't seem to be doing it very often these days. I'm trying to think.
I wouldn't necessarily say popular, but Terrifier 3, which is okay, cost 2 million.
Right. Is that a Hollywood movie?
No, I'm just saying you can make money.
Right.
And that seems to be doing pretty good monies. So Yeah, I think there's.
I think that as the profit margins get narrower on the really, really expensive films,
Yeah.
then they'll start to look at what's happening with films like that and go, you know what? Why are we doing this? Let's spread our investment more intelligently.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly the case with somebody like Robert Rodriguez, he brings his films in very cheaply, and therefore he's given more creative control because, in essence, the films can't lose money because they're going to recoup at least the budget. So, yeah, I think it's very possible. And then it's just funny when you have something like the new Joker film that cost 200 million, which is insane.
Unnecessary, really.
Is there any movie you would refuse to watch?
Refuse to watch?
Squirm, you've refused.
Yeah.
Anything super gory?
Yeah, there's a few things that set my teeth on edge that I would just. There's lots of films that I suppose it depends on the context of this refusal. There are lots of films that that if it's just down to me, I won't watch because I don't want to. And I've said before, I'm a great believer in self-censorship rather than watching something you know you're going to hate and bitching about it. I think it's just easier not to watch it.
Yeah.
But if it was like a question of you need to review this, there's only a handful of films that I just do set my teeth on edge, and I probably wouldn't see under any circumstances.
Andreas has come in with $5 this time, kind of negating the cheapskate comment you gave him last time. But he's saying, do you celebrate Halloween? How do you folks in UK feel about Halloween? Do you celebrate it?
Halloween's is Halloween a British thing originally? Halloween's an Irish thing originally.
Yeah,
we had it first. What's this?
It's definitely not as big as it is in America. When I was
no, we have a different way of doing it. I usually spend Halloween with if my niece is about, then she likes Halloween, but she doesn't go trick or treating. She really likes answering the door for other children and giving them chocolate and organizing things, which I find endlessly entertaining. So I like that. I think when's Halloween this year? Is it?
It's the 31st.
Yes, thank you. That's next Friday, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm spending Halloween in a production of The Little Mermaid in Trowbridge. I've been told I need to try and sell it more. So on the off chance there's anyone from the West Country watching, please come along. We're at St. Augustine School. There are so many seats available.
Me and my girlfriend do pumpkin carving. There is my girlfriend's pumpkin from last year. There you go.
That's very good.
There you are. So she'll like that her artwork's getting shown off. But that's about it. I don't think we have many trick-or-treaters coming around here.
Oh, we had loads where I was. But then, but London is different.
It's just not the same as in America. When I was in America,
West Country
we got so
village.
much stuff. It was great. So that's how we celebrate Halloween. It's a day, but it's not. Nobody really goes overboard for it. Okay, we've done that one. Am I eating cold mushy peas? No, that was a whiskey sour sorbet.
Yes, it was Island of Terror. Thank you.
Cool.
The Terence Fisher science fiction.
Cool. Do you have any plans to be movie directors one day, Robin?
Do I? No, I don't. I always did, and then I've tried directing. I'm about to direct again on stage and on film. And the truth is, firstly, I find it very stressful, and I don't enjoy it like I thought I would. And secondly, I love writing. I would definitely. I haven't given up my dreams of being a screenwriter, although I find myself increasingly enjoying novel writing. But as any ambitions I have of being a director have passed a sort of a natural death because it's just not as enjoyable as I thought it. I don't find it as enjoyable as I thought I would.
Okay.
You?
I think I'd like to do more shorts, but a feature, I don't know. I don't know if I'm cut out for the stress of that anymore. It seems very stressful. So
I think a little independent feature, you jump at it. if someone brought you a script that was like, or if you wrote a
Well, no,
script
if
that was
they-
like really cool and
directing, yes, it's all of the other
Yeah.
bullshit that I don't want to have to deal with. Like the
That's-
like if a producer comes along and goes, "Oh, here's the thing," and you're coming in and you're directing, and here's all the resources to do it, and we'll back you up, then yes, but that's not gonna happen.
That's what I think. I said I'm about to direct something on stage again, and it's I sort of like applied to do it, thinking, yeah, I enjoy sort of working with actors and doing that stuff, and then you forget that someone's like, okay, we need a budget, and what do you want for lights, and what do you want for staging, and where are you going to rehearse, and how often are you going to rehearse, and all this stuff, and that's the stuff that you lose sleep over. The fun bit is such a tiny part of it. Writing has the tremendous advantage that you just sit and you type and you send it out, and then you get the rejection letter, and then you sit and type again. And if nobody else ever reads it, I still get something out of having done it because I love what I do.
Do you consider Silence of the Lambs a horror?
Um,
We did when we did the Horror 64.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess you wouldn't say it's a pure horror, but I don't.
Yeah.
There's no such. There's not really a definition of
Yeah.
a genre.
Yeah.
It has horror elements for sure, so why not? It's a sort of a thriller horror.
Okay. Night of the Big Heat, sci-fi or horror?
I've always thought of it as a sci-fi, but of course that too has.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Things don't have to be one thing.
Congratulations on Andreas Buckley for getting the question from the quiz book right. You were the first one to get that answer. I don't know how quickly you gave that answer. We're only just getting to it now. I see a psycho-like MacGuffin in Renfield's death in the 31 Dracula. Would you agree?
I hadn't really thought of it like that. I'm not.
Cool.
I'm sort of thinking about it now because of course Renfield is the character who's there throughout the.
Okay, yeah. It's quite late.
But I don't think you ever really. I don't feel like once you're out of that initial section, I don't feel like I continue to follow him in the same way. So I'm not sure I would. The thing about Psycho is that the money is always there.
Yeah.
It's you go back when you go back and watch it from an analytical point of view, it's fascinating to see how Hitchcock foregrounds the money throughout.
Mm-hmm.
It always seems to be about the money, and even when it's not.
So currently, I think we're on about 85,000 subscribers.
Was this a question, or are you just talking?
This is leading into the question.
Okay.
How will we celebrate reaching 100,000? Which at this rate will be 2 years.
I don't know. I suppose we should do something.
So yeah, that's the level of celebration we're.
I mean, I thought what personal celebration. Also, I thought sort of do something for the channel. Personal, I won't celebrate. I don't celebrate things.
Thank you very much, Colleen, for your donation.
I can suck the joy out of anything like that. All I will think is, how is it taking us this long?
I think that's it. Yeah, it's kind of, there was a bit where we jumped in subscribers and it looked like it was things were happening, and then we've just been on a very plateaued at a level which is absolutely fine, but it doesn't get any more.
We've plateaued at what is kind of an inconvenient level where we earn way too much from Dark Corners to give it up, because that would be because I couldn't afford to live. I've invested too much time in this now. But not enough to live on.
Yes.
Still got to do other work. It's a really awkward place to have topped out.
It's enough that we would miss that.
So still really hoping to push it back up, and get one of those nice big jumps that we used to get.
My dad was also watching Quatermass 2 earlier. We've got our eyes on doing a Quatermass special. In fact, if you want a rundown of what's coming up this Sunday, God willing.
Oh, I'm putting your neck on the block.
I'm putting my neck on the block here.
I will not be there then.
Well, will you not?
You know what? Trying to find my availability during the show weeks is
on a Sunday evening.
We're tacking.
Take a half-hour break.
I might be able to. I'm not on stage that much.
Well, that's So anyway, so this Sunday, God willing, Frankenstein special.
It's alive. I think we've decided to call it.
It's
It's
alive.
going to be about the first two Universal Frankenstein films, the James Whale films.
It comes in a beautiful 37 minutes or so. So it's nice little retrospective. Then I'm thinking next up will just be a sort of quickie special on, which might also come out as a streaming one. Just depending on
the non-horror films of James Whale.
So
which I think is a subject that gets ignored a lot. I was amazed to find that so many of these films are still quite difficult to watch.
Yeah.
And it's a fascinating group of films. There are dramas, musicals, war films, some great comedies, really great comedies, some period films, all sorts.
And we were so lucky because we knew his last film was part of an anthology film, but his segment got cut. And we've been trying to find it, and just randomly it turned up on YouTube last week.
Yeah.
So we were able to get hold of his last film. It's called Hello Out There if you want to see it. It's got the Colonel from MASH in it. So
that's up next.
That's kind of like a mini special. Then end of November, December, we've got all of the other Frankenstein films.
Yeah. Son to House of Frankenstein.
Then probably nothing in January because it's a dead month. February, we'll be doing the top 10 Boris Karloff horror films.
Yeah.
Then we're going to be doing Hammer's Cornish Duo.
Yes.
And then off the back of that, we're going to be doing a special on Todd Slaughter, who is before Hammer, he was England's horror.
Yeah, Todd Slaughter popularised what were called the blood and thunder melodramas that had been written and sort of performed in the Victorian era. And these were deathly out of fashion, and Slaughter put them on and made an absolute fortune because stuff that's deathly out of fashion, very often people want to see. And then he moved into film and continued to be quite successful.
And the reason it's following on from the Cornish Duo is because director...
Oh, damn it, John Gilling
wrote some of the Todd Slaughter things.
Yeah.
Fun fact, Todd Slaughter, not his real name.
No, it's Norman Slaughter. Norman Slaughter.
So that's roughly what we've got coming up.
Did anyone ask, or are we just pimping?
I was just pimping.
Good.
I need to watch Your Name. Cool, blimey, yeah. Late Night with the Devil. I enjoyed it up until the ending. Did you ever do Toxic Avenger or other Troma stuff? No.
Nah.
We've always kind of avoided Troma because Troma knows what it is and is being played for comedy. So it's very difficult to then laugh at it when it's laughing at itself already. Same goes for Asylum films.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think Dracula novel would work as a point and click game. Okay. We got a comment. Millennium 1989.
Thank you.
Paid to answer your question. That's super generous. Okay. Oh my god, we're so far behind.
Well, we did pause there to sort of just talk to
We did. Okay. Have you reviewed Mad Monster Party by Rankin Bass?
No.
Would you?
I think it's a little tongue-in-cheek, but maybe.
Love Bram Stoker's Dracula. It's my favourite adaptation. Even Keanu Reeves' acting is bearable.
To each their own. I don't agree, but everyone's entitled to their own opinion.
Is the BBC Louis Jourdan version of Dracula the most faithful to the book? And are you fans of it?
It's certainly the most faithful I'm aware of, and yes.
We were going to do a review of it.
Yeah, we might do it for streaming at some point. It's it's hard to condense. It's hours long, but yeah.
Just want to say thanks for all the videos. Thank you.
Thank you.
Would you do a retrospective of George A. Romero? Yes,
maybe. I mean, we always said no because we had a forever on the to-do list thing about zombies.
Yes,
but maybe.
There's so many.
Maybe
things.
we'd do it in lieu of that.
If we were earning more money from the channel, we could stop doing other things and make more videos.
And
that's
make more excuses.
That's basically what it comes down to.
Yeah. Life gets in the way.
You could do more notable episodes of a given show. I guess referring to
Yeah.
which is something I've been pushing to
Graham
do.
would very much like us to do this.
I
just don't think there are enough hours in my time.
Yeah.
In my day.
I've wanted to do a kind of anthology series where we would dip into the Twilight Zone, or dip into a Hitchcock Presents, or dip into a Outer Limits, or a Black Mirror, just all of these different anthology shows, and do random things from there.
Yeah.
But again, comes down to time.
My problem is that I work from around 8:30 in the morning to around 9 o'clock at night, and I'm still struggling to get everything done. And I don't really want to extend beyond the 12.5-hour day.
Yes. Would be interested in doing something about Ken Russell.
I don't really know enough about Ken Russell, to be honest. I like doing. I mean, I think we will continue to do his films occasionally for streaming as they come up. I think Lair of the White Worm is the only one we've done.
Yes.
Would
we do a special on Amicus or Barbara Steele? Barbara Steele,
yes. Amicus, maybe.
It's really annoying. There's not really a book about Barbara Steele. There's one that I can find, but it's all in Spanish or Italian.
Isn't that crazy? It's not like she is Spanish or Italian.
No. So yeah,
we don't value our own stars.
That's definitely something that's on our to-do list. If one wanted to remake a movie, it would be interesting to remake a bad movie, which we've said in our bad movies should be remade video.
As many have said.
On that note, how would you feel about a remake of The Brain That Wouldn't Die?
I mean, there's lots of them already. Yes. Really, it's such a widely done thing. I mean, the Steve Martin film is the best remake, isn't it? Which one is that?
Man with Two Brains.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's been done.
Yeah. So yes,
really well.
And I'd say there's probably room for doing another one.
Yeah, a more serious one, I guess you could.
Yeah. Would you watch Kingdom of the Spiders? We've reviewed it. And do you think there'll ever be a remake or continuation with new actors in the roles? No. Thoughts on Steven Seagal? No.
No. Yeah, I have nothing good to say about
Godzilla's 70th anniversary coming real soon. Okay. Go check out our Godzilla video.
4 years away.
Okay.
Is that right? Yeah, I think so. 58.
Is it 15? Yeah, something like that. Yeah, so it's coming.
Is it 78? Now I've said that, I'm doubting myself. Is it 56?
Do you celebrate 70 or do you celebrate 75?
I think once you hit a certain age, then every 5 years you just get a really big celebration.
Okay. I don't know what it refers to, but in Scotland we toast the local police officer in a wicker man.
Oh, it must be a Halloween.
Yeah.
Good grief, we're far behind you.
Are you going to go over the Klaus Kinski version of Nosferatu?
I suppose we could at some point. Maybe when the new one comes out, we should do the Klaus Kinski one.
Yeah, if it's streaming somewhere, maybe. So Sebastian the Crab is going to sound like Jeff Rowe next Friday then.
I'm not playing Sebastian.
Is there any director you'd like to see direct the new Quatermass film?
Oh, is there? Specifically. I'd quite like to say, it's just sort of like it's kind of a boring answer. I'd quite like to see Danny Boyle do it because I just think he does he doesn't go nuts with big budgets and stuff. And I think Quatermass would probably benefit from being quite down to earth.
Cool. Nice answer. Who would you say is the greatest character actor? I would say Daniel Day-Lewis.
Lon Chaney.
The original Lon Chaney. Yeah.
So I said Lon Chaney, not Lon Chaney Jr. And Lon Chaney Jr. isn't a character actor. He doesn't have the versatility.
Please keep writing those novels. Your books are great. What books?
Thank you very much. Well, since you bring them up, I will have another book out in the next month or so. These are my books. These are the Universal Library books. There are currently 6 of them. There's about to be 7. you can read them theoretically in any order, although they probably make more. You probably get the most out of them by reading them in order. And Amazon has a. I haven't figured out how to stop Amazon from. I can either unlink them completely, or the problem is if you publish books that are all of a series, then it numbers them,
right?
And there's no option for them all being of a series but not numbered.
Okay,
so they are what they are. But yeah, so if I think you get the most out of them by reading them in order.
If someone was a cheapskate and only wanted to buy one book, which one should they buy?
Yeah, I'm going to stick by to my guns and say buy the first one, and then I'm sure you will feel obligated to buy the rest.
The real answer, though, from Robin would be The Immortal Dracula.
The Immortal Dracula is my favourite. Well, it's the one I think is best.
Okay. Given your love of the silent era, did you see Damien Chazelle's Babylon? What did you think of it?
No, I love the silent era. I don't love his version of it. It's just not how it was.
Hi guys at work, just dropping by to say hello. I think what is and isn't horror is very vague. That is true.
Yes.
Favorite Giallo film?
Oh, I'm not sure I have a favorite Giallo film.
Yeah, it's not an area we've delved too far into.
Yeah, I haven't watched enough to have a favorite. I like what I've seen.
Okay. Have you seen A, Van Helsing?
Yes.
B, Renfield?
No.
C, Last Voyage of the Demeter?
No.
Okay.
That's the one that I'd like to see, but everyone says you'll be disappointed.
You'll be disappointed. Yeah.
It seemed like a good idea.
Yeah.
Renfield's the one that I don't have any impulse to see that. Van Helsing, I remember really looking forward to because I thought that was such a good idea, and I still can't believe how badly they fucked up what is a good idea.
Mm-hmm. Another thing for Herzog's Nosferatu. People rage unsub when you. People tend to rage unsub when you give a bad review to a movie they like. Quite possibly, we've upset a person or two. That's fine. We have to remain true to ourselves at the end of the day, isn't it?
In the end, it just doesn't really. If you can't say what you think, then there's really no point in being in review. You're not reviewing. You're just pandering.
Yeah, and also
it only ever angers me when I see how many subscribers people have just by ranting and being thoroughly toxic about every new film that comes out.
Yeah,
I don't see any love for film there. I mean, at least when we give negative reviews to stuff, it's considered and it's this for a reason, and it's usually tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
But what the hell?
But people are going to do what they're going to do, and I don't think we particularly sweat it. We don't get very many negative comments.
Certainly not comparatively.
And everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and it doesn't bother me if somebody likes a film that we don't like. We disagree on a lot of films.
We do. We can't really have a go at people for leaving negative comments about us when what we're saying is largely negative comments about other films.
Yeah. So that's just is what it is. I don't know, man. I can't be the only one who spent weeks and weeks going through your reviews. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Have you thought of a special on J horror? Again, I think it's one that we want to do at some point, but our knowledge needs to be vastly increased. If you called the Frankenstein special It's Alive, what will you call the special on It's Alive films about killer babies? They're alive, because there's multiple of them. We haven't done any of the Alive trilogy.
No, maybe we should.
I believe it's got one of your favorite actors in it.
Oh yeah, which one?
The one from Q the Winged Serpent.
Oh, is it Michael Moriarty?
Michael Moriarty. I think he might be in
Everyone has their sort of bugbear actors. I haven't even done. He might be. I might enjoy him in that. Who knows? You know.
Okay. Did you like Gods and Monsters?
Loved it.
Yes.
We have reviewed that as well.
Yes.
For our streaming strand.
With all your collective movie knowledge, have you ever considered doing a short film project? So doing a short film project. I don't know quite what that means. I'm not.
Do you mean making a film ourselves?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Dan, let us know. Expand on that question. Expand on that question. We'll come back to it.
If that's the question, I'm editing one at the moment, very, very slowly.
I'm editing one even slower.
This is true.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's load him. Okay. HD Clouseau special, the French Hitchcock.
Oh, I don't know about that, but Les Diaboliques we should probably cover.
I listen to the back catalogue daily at work, says Colleen.
Oh,
thank
nice.
you. I love it when you give a funny review of a film that I love, even when you think it's bad. Seahawk the Slayer. Yeah, I mean, that's it. We've done films that we've really enjoyed and had a good laugh at them at the same time.
Hawk the Slayer was not one of mine.
Yeah, that wasn't one of them. But
that's one of the ones that people do have a go at me for. But
cool. Super Billy, thank you for your donation. We did just answer this question already, but since you gave us some money, we'll say it again. Are you looking forward to the Eggers Nosferatu remake and thoughts on the Herzog version?
No, and not as it stands. I didn't like the trailer. The Herzog version I enjoy. I don't think it doesn't work for me as well as the original. I think it's sort of between two stools, but I think as remakes go, it's a good one.
Okay. Millennium 1989 is keeps getting said. I don't know if that's an answer to a question or something that we should review. Have you seen any of the Coffin Joe film? This is a question that comes up. We bought a box set and it's all in Spanish. So that kind of killed that idea.
I have to say, I watched the first film on there and I found it absolutely I found it so boring.
So maybe
so slow.
And I believe it, like the Coffin Joe films, goes over a wide span of time, so maybe they improve.
Might perk up.
We tried.
I'll bring them back. You might have more time to watch them than I do.
No,
you don't watch them either.
I don't. You guys remember Doc Terror's Vault of Horror?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Scared me as a 7-year-old kid. Not me.
Oh, I might be thinking of the wrong thing then. Dr. Terror's House of Horror.
Did you do a special on Gamera? No, we've not done a single Gamera film.
There is I think Gamera. I think there's one on Amazon.
There's a few on Amazon.
Yeah, maybe we should do that, but they're not dubbed, which is
that's where the real. I mean, that's something that we'll say, like, where we sometimes get criticism about using the dubbed version, and it makes the films far worse because they're so badly dubbed. But in these cases, we're watching it to have a laugh.
Yeah,
and that's the dubbing is what makes them funnier.
And it's not like we added the dubbing. The dubbing is part of the film.
Yes,
part of the film as it existed for a lot of its audience.
I should say, if anyone is interested in Todd Slaughter, Powerhouse Films have done like a box set of a bunch of his films, so you can go check that out. Have you reviewed Sherlock Holmes' Mask of Death, starring Peter Cushing as an elderly Holmes?
We've mentioned it as part of our top 10 Peter Cushing horror films. I don't think we do a review beyond that, but it's part of that.
Well, we talked about doing Cushing is Holmes special.
Did we?
Briefly.
That doesn't seem like it would really sustain a special.
I know, it's like a 10-minute thing.
Oh, right.
Just like looking at his different things in a little bit more detail.
I always want to do more Sherlock Holmes stuff, but I always come back to that. I mean, Cushing's a fine Holmes, but Jeremy Brett's Holmes.
So, favorite Twilight Zone episodes?
Oh, I'm not that familiar with the Twilight Zone.
So I've got a few seasons of the Twilight Zone, and I was like watching them, and like initially like really enjoying them, and then after a while you go, oh yeah, okay, I get the formula now. And they started to go a bit downhill after that. But as for ones that jump out, it's really tough because Twilight Zones have been merged with the scary door from Futurama. And so I don't have an answer for that off the top of my head. I'd have to look at the box sets. Peeping Tom came out on Blu-ray. Yeah, it was a really good disc of Peeping Tom. That's one that we've talked about doing. That's one where it's like we were looking at doing the retrospective of it. Then this came out. It's kind of like, oh, they're going to do it way better than we can. So go buy that if you want to know about it. It looks great. Science Advisor t-shirt. We're working on it.
Yep.
Robin's next book
coming soon.
Do you want to say what it is?
It's called The Legacy of Frankenstein.
There we go.
I need to sort out the cover. That could be a limiting factor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Will be out before Christmas. I am hoping mid to late November.
We got another donation from Super Billy.
Thank you, Super Billy.
Will you be watching Luc Besson's Dracula?
Luc Besson's doing a Dracula. Wow, that's
wow, I did not know that. That is news.
That's news, and that, I mean, my initial thoughts is that seems like a really awkward fit. But you know,
okay, yeah,
we shall see.
We'll let that one fester in our brain for a little while. Okay, we've done Robin's next book. Some of Ken Russell's films are bloody weird. Got a crush on Barbara Steele. What's your favorite way of watching movies outside the cinema? Streaming, physical media, TV, old VHSs?
I don't care. It's just as long as it's on a screen. I really don't. What you watch is it. I don't care how you watch it. Just what you watch.
Cool. Would there be a way to justify doing Nigel Neal's films for Hammer as a special?
I mean, we're doing the Quatermass ones. I don't think. Covers, I mean, yeah. I don't think that there's any need to go to just do. I suspect that if we were to do Quatermass special, then we would look at other Nigel Neal stuff for Hammer.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else he did for Hammer now. Did he do any other Hammer films? Someone will tell me.
Let us know. Are there any werewolf films you will review? We've got a film coming up in our next batch that we just shot today. So we've got a werewolf film coming there. We've obviously
recommended by one of our Patreon supporters. Thank you to our Patreon supporters.
Yes.
One of our Patreon shadows, I should say.
We've obviously done the Lon Chaney ones. I think it'd be good. I don't know if we should actually do like a Blu-ray review of the 4K I've got of American Werewolf in London, because that's really solid disc, really good documentary on there.
Okay.
So yeah, so there's a few to get you started.
Yeah, and we've done a load of Paul Naschy ones.
Oh yeah, done loads of Paul Naschy ones. So many werewolf ones. Apparently, Godzilla is 1954. Just so you want to know,
54
where we are in the in the chat. To do your Chaney Wolfman special was great. Can you do one on the Paul Naschy ones?
Not as it stands. We're sort of working our way through his films. Neither of us know a huge amount about Paul Naschy, and I think that you've got to have some grounding. Although obviously you do a lot of research, you've got to have some grounding, some opinion of your own going into these things. Otherwise, you're just rehashing other people's opinions, and there's no point in doing videos just to expound other people's ideas.
It's on the very long list of things we want to do.
Yes.
What about the Del Toro Wolfman movie? Would you review that?
No, I don't think so.
Klaus Kinski. No, I don't know if you finished that answer.
I do. Yeah. I mean, it's just
Klaus Kinski's Nosferatu is streaming on YouTube, so
right,
we
okay.
could do that as a
potentially do
streaming.
that when the new one comes out.
Something a while back. Will you ever do the original 70s movie Dark Shadows? The movie, not the TV show.
Never say never.
Yeah.
I don't think Dark Shadows really cut through in this country the way it did in the States.
Yeah. And it's also streaming on Tubi, Nosferatu. John Carpenter movies or retrospective?
I mean, we've done some John Carpenter movies. The Thing, most notably.
The Thing.
Possibly solely.
Was the one with the Knight Rider-y car? Was that John Carpenter?
The Knight Rider-y car.
Had Tommy Lee Jones in it.
Was that
Linda
John
Carpenter?
Carpenter?
Yeah, I think he had something to do with it. He might have wrote it or something.
Really?
Yeah, we've not really done much John Carpenter, which means we have to research. Probably when he dies, we'll do a quick something.
That's generous.
So, who's your favourite Scream Queen?
Scream Queen. Fay Wray.
Okay. There's supposed to be John Wick anime prequel. Venom 3 isn't getting a great response from critics, similar to Joker 2. And then the question is, favourite TV shows past and or present?
Oh, yeah.
So do you want to break that down? Anime prequel for John Wick, any thoughts?
I've never seen a John Wick film.
Venom 3, any thoughts?
I've never seen a Venom film.
And Joker 2, any thoughts?
No.
And favourite TV show past and or / present?
Favourite TV show? Bloody hell. I mean, that's just such a huge thing. It's Derek Jacobi's birthday today. I, Claudius is a fantastic TV show.
Yep.
Today, I don't know if it's actually, I will say my favourite because it's been cancelled and it's an absolute disgrace. Star Trek Lower Decks. I'm really pissed off that the current series that I will have to wait until next summer when I'm cat sitting for my friend Julia to watch will be its last, because it's been a wonderful series. It's been very true to the material and also so funny.
Do you think there is a modern day equivalent to Hammer Horror?
No.
I would guess like your two main studios doing horror at the moment is Blumhouse and A24, and they're very much doing. I don't think they aesthetically share a look. I think it's like you say, Hammer was like a theatrical company. It was a lot of people all working on the same projects together.
Yeah,
and I would say that's kind of what you're missing.
I don't think you could, if you took the credits off, I don't think you'd look at a film and say, oh well, that's Blumhouse and that's A24. When you see a Hammer film, I don't even putting it alongside sort of Amicus and Tyburn, when it's a Hammer film.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when we did our first Hammer special about the Frankenstein films, we said, outside of animation, can you think of another studio where the studio name is the selling point? Not the actors, not the director. It's a Hammer film.
I would say A24 might be there now.
I wouldn't, but
yeah. So there you go. That's that question. Love Dark Shadows. Favorite Scream Queen. D. Wallace, somebody mentioned for favorite Scream Queen as well. Okay. Is there any movie you initially watched for a bad movie review but sounded so good you did a regular stream? Quite a few, actually.
Yeah, there's a few.
I think of
specific.
There was the one that was done at the same time as the Amazing Transparent Man.
Ah, yes, that's a good example that I can't remember the name of. But yeah, the time travel-y one.
Yeah. So
that's the Edgar Ulmer one. Yeah. I think The Earth Dies Screaming was one that we weren't quite sure of as well. That was sort of more, let's see what happens. But yeah, someone will know, and it'll be right down the bottom now. But yeah, the Edgar Ulmer one was one that we were definitely doing as a bad movie review, and then watched it. You know what? It's not brilliant, but it's not a bad movie.
There's enough interesting stuff in it. So yes, it does occasionally happen.
Yeah.
It's worse when they sort of fall right in between, where it's not bad enough. It's not bad enough for a Dark Corners thing. It's not good enough for a streaming.
Very irritating, that.
I love your reviews. You know how to structure entertaining and an informed review.
Thank you.
How do you go about structuring it? What's your writing process?
The regular reviews.
Let's go for a regular review this time.
I watch the film, I make my notes, and these days, it's really we go through the film and you try and build gags along the way. So very often that will be comedy driven. But you just try and make sure that people are getting the story, along with commentary along the way. It's the specials that sort of like have, I think, more noticeable structure in them, and then you try and find the story.
Mm-hmm.
But with the reviews, it's really about telling the story of the film.
So Amy says the problem with YouTube systematically favors artificial emotion after being genuine, and that sucks. And this is one of the things I've wondered, that if on all of our thumbnails, if we just had you go,
yeah, maybe.
Which seems to work for people, but
there's lots of stuff that seems to work for people, but I think we're too far in now.
We're not changing
We're
not changing our ways.
Well, it's not so much changing our ways. I think that when there's a quote from Aaron Sorkin, something about saying that when you get a negative review on something, your instinct is to change what you're doing to suit that person.
Yeah.
And he said, don't do that, because they still won't like it, and you'll lose the people who do like what you're doing. And I think I'd be more worried about if we started doing pandering to that audience that we don't have, we'd lose the audience we do. And the audience we do are, in the end, our people, because what we're doing is what we like.
Hold that question. Someone's just donated $25.
Thank you.
Thank you,
that's
S.
very
Dyson.
generous. Thank you.
That is super generous of you. I didn't ask a question, though. Otherwise, I would have answered it straight away. But thank you very much for that. But just before that, somebody also mentioned Christine was the movie you're thinking of. Was it?
Christina?
Christine.
That's not the movie we were thinking of.
Oh, donations reduced until the insults improve. Andreas has dropped us down to £2. $2 even. Not even £2. That's a shockingly cheap.
Okay. Another insult. Every time I see your name in our streaming feed, I think of Andreas Katsulas, the actor from Babylon 5. So that, just so you know, that's what I imagine you look like, that makeup. If you're familiar with Babylon 5, that might be an insult. I don't know.
Right. Oh my goodness, we've fallen so far behind.
Yes.
Okay, thoughts on the Del Toro Frankenstein? I've saw a couple of things recently that
I've been following his tweets about it, which is always interesting, but he doesn't really tell me anything about the film. I really want it to be good.
Yeah,
he's such a fan of these films. If anyone can do it justice, then I feel like he can. But
I think I saw like an image, and I was like, "Ooh, no."
I mean, in the end, it has to look like a Del Toro film. I don't really want it to look like a Universal film, because those were what they were.
Yeah.
I want it to be, but I like the plot with Pretorius coming back, and that I find interesting. And a sort of like a happy meeting of Del Toro and Universal could be really good. And in a way, he's already done a happy meeting of Del Toro and Universal with The Shape of Water, because that's just a Creature from the Black Lagoon film. I want it to be good.
Do you think there are any non-horror stories that would work well in horror?
Yes. I'm sure there must be.
Yeah, these are the sort of questions we need more brain time for.
Yeah.
Oh god, another. I was about to do that question, but somebody just donated again.
Thank you very much.
And it's a super generous £25. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
This is to say thank you for all the years and great reviews. Thank you. That is super generous. Thank you.
Much appreciated. We've lost our place.
And now I've lost our place. But it was something about how do we feel about other YouTubers doing bad movie reviews? Do we look at them as competition or what?
I don't really look at other YouTubers. There's a great interview with Tom Baker where he was talking. He said, fans always ask me what I think about other doctors, because that's the sort of question that fans ask. And I say, other doctors? Other doctors?
I don't think there's the ones that I enjoy and there's the ones I don't watch.
We probably wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't for MST3K, which isn't really a review series.
Yeah.
But you can't. There's no. It's not an original idea.
I'd say
so we really can't complain.
I'd say the only other channel I watch that do cover bad movies would be Red Letter Media. Is the only one that I would sort of regularly watch when they put something out. And then I also do a nod for Ben Simpson, who's like a friend of the channel.
Yeah,
and I think he does
great reviews on.
He does really good stuff, and he doesn't get the views. Although I think he's doing much better now. He's doing stuff on Instagram. He seems to be getting much more traction.
Well, he's a young man,
but he understands that Instagram thing where we don't. But so yeah, but other ones, like I'm aware of them, but I mean I don't really look at Cinemassacre anymore. I never looked at Brendan's channel.
Brandon Tennell.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people who are doing far better than us, and you know, people like Cinemassacre. You know, they got there first, so fair enough.
So yeah, they're out there doing their thing. We're doing.
We have a slightly different. I think we're different to all the other. I'm assuming all of these other channels, they have their thing. Maybe some of them may be very, very generic. We found our thing that we do. We have these other strands going on, and that we really do focus on the classic movies.
Yeah. Okay.
So many comments and so few of them are questions.
Do you think Hammer should do a Cushing-style Van Helsing film with Matt Smith or Ralph Fiennes or Andrew Garfield? Not Andrew Garfield, but Ralph Fiennes as a Van Helsing kind of following in on the Brides of Dracula kind of thing.
I mean, yeah, if they do it right, yeah, I'm not really interested in who plays the character. It's the script.
Would we review the 3 Mummy films by Brendan Fraser? Probably not. There's a ton of stuff we'd probably do before then.
Yeah,
I like the first.
The first 2 are great fun, and there's also a third one. But I don't even really think of them as horror films.
I see. This is why I couldn't understand Coffin Joe, because it's actually Portuguese.
Ah, right.
Yes, which just goes to show
how far
we went into the Coffin Joe research.
I watched the film.
Oh, don't worry about if your question's been asked before. Should I blind buy Long Legs?
You've seen it.
I've seen it.
Did we get a donation?
We did.
Thank you.
We've got to scroll down and see if there's a question attached. Have you seen Beetlejuice?
Yes.
Tell us about it and make that answer worth $50.
$50? Oh, thank you. That's very generous. I thought it was fine. I mean, of all the late reboots or belated sequels, it ranks about in the middle. There was nothing to get excited about, but it was enough fun. And Michael Keaton's, I love Michael Keaton as an actor. I think there was too much going on in some ways.
Okay,
but it was fine.
My thoughts on Long Legs. I'm not sure about its rewatchability. Like, it's a good film. Would you go back and rewatch it again? I don't know that you would. So I would say maybe just wait for streaming. That'd be my take. The Blade Master is the greatest film ever made. Okay. Any interest in reviewing Stephen King's novels or short films based on Stephen King's novels or short stories?
I mean, not beyond sort of like when they come up. I mean, we've already done. Is it just the one? I feel like we've done another.
I think it's just.
Is it just the one?
Just the one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called now. Maximum Overdrive.
Ever thought of replacing Lugosi with a Dark Corners T-shirt design? Yes, that may happen. I do want to do that.
We should really rebrand, not least because our branding on YouTube still says that there are slapdowns coming, which was about 10 years ago now.
Yep. So yeah, we do need to do a rebrand, and that might be part of it. Okay. So have you seen Christopher Lee Sherlock Holmes movies?
No, I haven't. I've got those earmarked to watch on Amazon because at least one of them is there. With Patrick McNee, I think, playing Watson.
When did Ron die? Doc Savage Ron.
I don't know.
Ron Ely die. So a couple of people just mentioned that. Did we kill another person? I don't know. It looks like he might still be alive. He died in just the end of September.
God. Wow.
Man. We did say he was good in it. We said he was the best thing in the film. Yeah, bad. That wasn't done in timing with his death. We'd done that one.
I wish I'd known that. We might not have done it. Although it's been a very successful review so far.
Yes.
I mean, not everybody likes it, but maybe there's some residual...
Call me insane, but I appreciate this channel. Do it. Call me insane.
You're insane.
Robin, can you tell us a little bit about your book, The Immortal Dracula? Does it exist in a cinematic universe?
Well, not a cinematic one, but if anybody would like to make a movie out of it, all of the books take place within the same world. There are characters that cross between them, I think, in every book. But like I said, you don't have to have read the others. You will probably appreciate them more if you read them in order. But I think The Immortal Dracula is a good standalone one generally. Other people have told me it's very hard for me to judge how standalone they are because I wrote them. So that's a difficult thing to say.
Good news, Raman. PlayStation 5 does play 4K discs. So just so you can enjoy Peeping Tom in 4K on your PlayStation 5.
Are we running a helpline?
A little bit. If Ator the Fighting Eagle were to get a big budget remake, who's your pick to play Ator?
Oh, wow. Who would play Ator?
Oh, one of a Hemsworth of some description.
Yeah. Let's say a Hemsworth then.
Yeah. You having a lover's quarrel. Your accents are impenetrable.
Oh, well.
Yeah, that's probably true. Besson or Argento on Dracula? Who do you pick?
Hasn't Dario Argento done?
Don't know. Yes, I think he has.
Yeah. Wasn't it terrible?
Maybe.
Well, let's go with Besson then. At least he hasn't had a go yet.
Have you thought of doing a Donald Pleasance special? No,
I don't think so. I think we've done enough of his individual films.
I just don't think he's that good.
Okay.
Be honest.
I think Donald Pleasance is one of those actors where you see him in a lot of stuff and you think, well, why is this guy a star? And then you see Wake in Fright.
Yes.
And you go, oh right, this guy can really act. And similar, and there are roles like that throughout his career. There are some actors like Peter Cushing who are great in everything, and there are some actors who either can't be bothered to show up for everything or who require a director to really put them through it. And Pleasance is more one of those. So you see him in he's actually with Cushing in Room 101, the BBC adaptation. He's very good in that. He's very good, obviously, in Halloween and Wake in Fright and lots of other stuff too. But he doesn't always show up.
Yeah. Favorite Hammer actress?
Favorite Hammer actress? Gosh. Let's say Melissa Stribling then.
Cool.
Just for the most unique Hammer heroine there is. Although Nikki Origi in Devil Rides Out, I think, is also very good. again, it's the unusual heroines, the ones where they're not just going for the boring ingenue character who good actresses get wasted on that.
Yeah. I'm probably looking more yellow because I'm stuck right under a yellow light. If I lean back, I might be less yellow. But that was a thing that's going on. Black Moon Rising is the car movies, and it was not directed by John Carpenter.
There's a relief.
I still have a feeling he wrote it or something. Yes, John Carpenter wrote it. Correct.
Huh.
Have you reviewed Hungry Eyes?
No.
Deadly Eyes?
No, not that either.
Okay, right. I once asked why Hammer didn't make any more werewolf movies, and the answer was the first one didn't make any money, but that doesn't explain why they would ignore the possibility.
I think it does. When Hammer was always hand to mouth, they really couldn't afford to lose that sort of money on a regular basis.
Have you watched Legend of the Werewolf? Ty Burns?
Yes.
Werewolf? How does that play?
Not brilliantly, to be honest. Kind of a disappointment. And yeah, now I think about it. I was going to say it's kind of similar to the Hammer one in some respects, and there are comparisons, but the Hammer one
says
far
it almost
better.
acts like a sequel of.
Oh right.
sorts.
Well, I'm glad it's not just me pulling shit out of the air. But yeah, it's not so good.
Okay, on to now. Beyond the Time Barrier was the name of that film that we were trying to come up with earlier. I watched Beatrice, very good. Do you want a Frankenstein 3D from Argento? We had a Frankenstein 3D from Andy Warhol.
Yes.
Which we have reviewed. Burke and Hare is a good body snatcher film. That's another one that we want thing of just doing like a Burke and Hare at the movies and other ones at the movies.
There are a lot of those. Flesh and the Fiends is a good version.
Don't change the format. Your stuff's always on point. Thank you. I watched Shape of Water with my mum. That was a mistake. Oh, she's back for seconds. Here's what the mum said. Oh, lost our place again. Halloween is on Stupid Boring Thursday.
I'll still be in Little Mermaid.
Bloodbath and Beyond was a great bad movie review channel, but they seem to have quit. Can Robin tell us about his acting? It sounds like he's done some.
Yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of amateur acting. I just enjoy it. Sort of mostly started in university, and I've done a few shows a year probably ever since. At the moment, I'm just taking quite a small role in Little Mermaid in Trowbridge next week. You never know. Somebody in the 134 people out there might be someone in the West Country who can come and see it. We really do need people to. Last year, I got to play Salieri in Amadeus, which was an extraordinary opportunity.
Highly nominated production.
Not for, I wasn't.
Not for acting.
Not for acting.
Everything else got a nomination.
No. We got nominated for best production, and neither I and Salieri is on stage pretty much throughout. Yeah. Or Mozart, and every time I'm not speaking, he's speaking. Neither of us got nominated for acting. We were both like, oh, well, thank God the production was so good, despite the two people who were just propping it up being so terrible. Very irritating that was.
Would we consider a Jack Arnold special?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe not a special. I mean, we'll get round to doing some of his films. The Creature from the Black Lagoon, I think, is the main one that we should probably do at some point. But
The Pit and the Pendulum with Vincent Price. Great, good, meh. I think it's some of Price's best performances.
I think I would put that one good rather than great, but maybe very good. Let's say. I think the great thing about Corman's Poe films is that there's everybody has their different favorites. We said this. It's really interesting. I think there's hard to think of another franchise where appreciation is so spread out across it from different people. And I wouldn't put that one right at the top, but other people do, and that's fine.
Would we consider a review of Spectre 1973?
I don't think I know that film.
Okay, then maybe.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Private Life of Sherlock Holmes. Are you a fan of that movie?
Yes.
Can I get the books from US Amazon? You certainly can.
Yes.
Just moved again.
Sorry, the ticker thing has a life of its own.
Any thoughts on Night Stalker?
Not
1970s.
Not really. I never watched the series. Again, it was another one that I don't think really cut through over here. If it did, I didn't see it anyway. And haven't caught up with it.
What do you think of Carry On Screaming?
I love Carry On Screaming.
And the next question, we have done Soylent Green, so you can check out our review of that. Neil Breen, we've touched on before. I don't think we're going back there. One was enough.
Yeah, one and done on Neil Breen.
Long-time caller, first-time listener. I can't get my dog to stop switching channels when I watch TV. Any advice?
Watch better stuff.
Take the batteries out the remote. Maybe.
Get a cat.
Get a cat. Just don't give away the ending. We do not give away the ending in the review much. I thought
we do in bad movie reviews.
Yes, but we didn't with Soylent Green. That's what.
No, we didn't in that.
Which I thought that was so well known that we could, but you decided against it.
I don't like doing it with streaming stuff.
Yeah. Freddie Francis, Mumsy, Nanny, Sonny, and Girly.
I've actually got that in my YouTube watch list as a possibility, so maybe.
Drum Tum, we have reviewed Warhead Rex, so you can do a little search for that on the channel and see exactly what we've thought of it. A New York stage play of Amadeus starred Ian McKellen and Tim Curry. That would have been awesome. Yeah,
that's I knew that, and as soon as you hear that, you just think that is extraordinarily good casting.
Yeah. Thoughts on the film? One of my favourite films.
I love the film.
Love the film
very much. I obviously steered clear of it last year, but yeah,
I'd say it's a little bit frustrating that only the director's cut is out now.
Right.
And it's the scenes that have been added, I think, distract from.
What's very interesting is that it's in terms of it's very different to the play.